I mean, it's good against the decks that try and abuse Malira and whatever that thing's called, Kitchen Finks and stuff, but...
Yeah, there aren't many Malira decks out there anymore, right?
There's just the collected company list. So, but no, I'm just running, I have like Stirring Wildwoods.
I mean, you can lay it out and talk about it if you want. I mean, we're still on the stream, so somebody...
So this is the Abzan list I've been running. I played it at like a PPTQ and a IQ, local IQ. So you've got your standard 9 fetch lands slanted towards black because that's your most popular color. 2 Overgrown Tombs, a Temple, and a Temple Garden, and a Godless Shrine, just your regular shocks. 4 basics, again slanted towards swamps. 1 of each of the check lands or buddy lands or whatever the heck they were called. Both, again, the ones that produce black. And then 2 Stirring Wildwoods. Some lists run an extra man land. I don't know. I don't really care for them that much. But you need some sort of utility land to piss away your mana on because you end up with a lot sometimes and nothing else to do. Pair of Gavany Townships, because I think those are... A lot of lists run 1 Gavany and 1 Vault of the Archangel, but I haven't found the Archangel to be very good, and I'd much rather have the extra counters because of your Lingering Souls. And then I play a lot of lists have the like 1 Urborg, but I don't have a problem getting black mana, and I like the Shizo because I have a couple legendary creatures because you can use it to give them fear. So then 3 paths. Removal is removal. 1 Dromoka's Command, 1 Maelstrom Pulse, and a set of Abrupt Decays. It may try and cut 1 decay for another like more universal removal spell, something like a Murderous Cut or whatever, Dismember or something like that, because this can't get like Tasigur and some people run like the mirror match. They run Thragtusk or Siege Rhino or something like that. So
usually just a 1-of, right?
What's that?
Well, they usually run a lot of Taskers, but most of those other ones are a 1-of, aren't they?
It'll be like a 1 Thragtusk, or no, they'll have a bunch of Rhinos.
Oh, really?
Most of them, yeah. You'll see that.
Oh, yeah, Rhinos in about every deck, right?
Well, actually, it's only really in the Abzan mid-range deck. The Collected Company deck doesn't use it because it costs 4. Oh, I also have the 3 Lilies as removal, and then 1 Sorin, because he's also good with the Lingering Souls. Then your standard 6 discard spells. You can slant it towards Thoughtseize or Inquisition. I just have even splits. And then I think I have a Duress on my sideboard. It's 1 more to bring in. And then your creatures. 2 Scavenging Ooze, the 4 Goyfs, 4 Lingering Souls, 1 Doran. That's the other one that works with... I used to have Restoration Angel. I didn't... I mean, it was alright, but I've had... I mean, I didn't think it was the best thing ever. I tried a Kitchen Finks, which I wasn't crazy... I mean, I have Kitchen Finks on my sideboard, but I wasn't crazy about it being deck. I tried Doran. He seemed alright. Like, he's good with Shizo, since he's a legendary creature. And he's also just good because he makes your Goyfs trade with their Goyfs, or he makes... You know, he makes your Rhinos trade with their Goyfs, you know, that kind of stuff. Speaking of which, there's the 4 set of Rhinos and then 2 Tassigurs, because as like a top-end spell, he can start recurring the removal, like if you time it right. That's another reason I might add another Murderous Cut instead of an Abrupt Decay, so I can pick out what I don't want in my graveyard anymore. Sometimes that becomes an issue, where like they're giving you back like Inquisitions and stuff because you can't get rid of the other crap in the yard.
Seems reasonable.
And then sideboards over here, I guess. I'm not gonna run this sideboard. This is just what I had. Some of this stuff will stay the same. Reclamation Sage.
Cards you had.
I might. Well, I mean, some of these I definitely want. Other ones I didn't. Anyway, 1 Rec Sage, 1 Creeping Corrosion. This is the anti-affinity stuff, and then 1 Stony Silence. I don't think this is actually enough. Like that matchup can be really bad, but
yeah, I don't know how many people have affinity in paper. So,
but
we've not run across an affinity deck online yet. So.
I lost to it at the PPTQ. But like I said before, it's not because I couldn't beat the deck. game 1, I kept a 2-lander and never saw another one, so I lost. I actually stayed in the game for a really long time because of Tarmogoyfs and stuff, but eventually, I never seeing another land. I just lost eventually.
That'll get you.
Game 2, I obliterated him. In game 3, he had a turn 2 Blood Moon, which this deck struggles with.
So the deck we play doesn't play Blood Moon.
Yeah. So. Some of them do. A lot of them slant towards red, I think, because they're running the Galvanic Blasts and Lightning Bolts and stuff.
We're running 3 blasts but no bolts.
Are you running the one with the scissors in it?
Scissors.
It's some enchantment that makes them like a 5/5 or whatever. Artifacts.
Oh yeah, it's Insult Artifact or whatever.
See, I've seen versions that aren't running that. They run like more red, just like lots of burn, because the deck puts out damage really fast.
Yeah, so the Insult Artifact works in a few matchups, but you usually end up siding it out because you do it at the wrong time. It's a 2-for-1 really quick.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I guess game 1 it would be okay. But
game 1 it's pretty good. We've definitely won top deck and Insult Artifact, or even play it the second turn sometimes.
Yeah.
And just go to town.
Anyway, there's the 1 duress. So that's like the. Rex Sage is also good against like Boggles or or if they bring in Leyline of Sanctity as like to stop your Lilies and that kind of stuff. But whatever. I liked it better than having like a Naturalize or something like that.
Good.
The 1 of duress, just because they're like Splinter Twin and stuff, sometimes you want the extra one. Golgari Charm, same reason. You just want like utility cards. Then we get into some of the slightly more questionable. Well, this isn't questionable. The Kitchen Finks you definitely want against burn. I don't know if I want to run Timely Reinforcements anymore. I haven't been super impressed with that. For the mirror match, I fiddled around with a couple different things, but I actually decided I liked running this set, the Batterskull, 1 Gideon Jura, and 1 Elspeth. This is like, well, these are both Planeswalkers, but they create, like if you draw any of these with a mixture of your other creatures and removal, they put a lot of pressure on your opponent to come up with like a very specific answer in a hurry, and if you ever see 2 of them, it's like lights out. I was playing against the like Collected Company version that's like trying to use Kitchen Finks and stuff and Gavany Townships to like amass this army off of like pumped up Noble Hierarchs and stuff, and I went from like a decidedly bad board state where all I had was like 2 Lingering Souls tokens and a Tarmogoyf or something, and I drew Elspeth, played it, and immediately pumped the Goyf and swung for 8, and he was dead in 2 turns. Like just hit him for 16 in 2 turns, and that was the end of the game.
Wow.
Like it went from like I'm losing to I can't lose.
Nice. And that was the one that gave us +3/+3 and flying, right? Not the lifelink.
Oh, that's what I meant. Flying, yeah. It made it so that he couldn't block him. Yeah, just destroyed him. Yeah.
Okay. And then Jura, I don't remember what Jura does. They must attack Gideon, and he goes up to 8 to do that. Destroy a tapped creature or turn him into a 6/6, and he can't take damage that turn. So very high loyalty Planeswalker on that one.
And if you get into a board stall,
they must attack him. Even if that gives you 1 turn, that might be enough.
Well, yeah, you can do that. You can do like the.
You have to attack Gideon. You attack him.
He becomes like the sacrificial lamb, and then you can crush him back. Or if you have like good blocks, you can like make them attack him, set up the good blocks so that you just win everything. He'll live through it, and then you can like minus him to finish off the last goy for what. It's brutal. If you're at parity when Gideon comes down, you like almost can't lose.
So really, the only thing you didn't like is this. And it's probably more hate for Affinity.
Yeah, or it's good against burn too. But I don't know. Kitchen Finks was actually as good against burn and Affinity as this was. So I just don't think I need it.
Because Kitchen Finks is just 2 blockers, right?
Yeah, and
a little bit of life gain.
It's also a lot better with the Gavany Townships.
Oh yeah. That's pretty good.
So I have a Celestial Purge that I've seen a lot of lists online that have them. I don't really like it. I tried it, and I just couldn't get behind it. Like, there's no red-black matchups other than, like, the Grixis-style decks.
Yeah, it does get their 4/4 lifelink, or what are they called? I play them in Standard. Anyway, it does get their big Rhinos.
It'll get Rhinos, it'll get Tasker, but, like, in general, it just, like, because you're not playing blue to play Snapcaster Mage, I feel like you never get enough value out of it. I'm probably gonna cut it because I just haven't seen. I mean, it also gets rid of like Lily, but
I didn't even think of that.
I have Lingering Souls, which is so good against her. Plus, I want to make spots. Oh yeah, this is also good in the mirror match. And it's nice to have just one more piece of graveyard hate. This is not even remotely enough graveyard hate to beat decks like Living End, but you just have to, I mean,
even having the 2 in the main board.
it's not enough. It's not fast enough either. Like they'll set up, you can eat like one thing out of their yard before they go off. It's just,
Now, did you see the Living End Splinter Twin merger of a deck?
No.
Did it do well?
I don't know that I never played against it. That deck should be easier for this deck because Splinter Twin is super easy for you. Like the abrupt decays and all the hand disrupt, like they don't have a prayer.
Okay.
But the Living End is a tough deck.
All right.
So, and then I have, this is what I actually think I want to replace both of these cards with 2 more chokes. This card against like the Grixis decks is brutal. Like the Grixis deck is actually slightly unfavorable for you. And then after sideboard, if they don't know this is coming, it like, because all of their lands are islands usually.
Oh, wow. And so this is one of those cards that you want to get now if you're going to get it because they're probably going to keep going up and they weren't reprinted.
Yeah, it was not reprinted. It could have been. And they're like $6 or so now.
So
I
probably
mean,
pick
it's
up
kind of a
those.
really specific, hate card. It's only good against like Merfolk and Grixis. You can play it against Splinter Twin, but a lot of times
Not worth it, or?
well, they run Sulfur Falls, so like they have a blue mana that goes around it. But like the Grixis deck, they have like 1 Sulfur Falls at most usually because they rely heavily on their fetch lands to fix all 3 colors. So like choke against them is super good. And like I said, that's actually a bad matchup. Splinter Twin, you don't need the choke because it's a good matchup anyway. But choke against the Grixis, and the Grixis decks appear to be becoming more popular. Like they run like Young Pyromancer, Tassiger. A lot of them have like Vendilion Click, and then they've got just super efficient.
Do they play Remand still?
They have super efficient spells. Like a lot of times they're running like 2 or 3 Remands, some Snapcasters. They'll have Terminates, Bolts,
Nice.
Mana Leaks, and all that jazz. Like if you can set up the turn where you like run a Duress out, make sure they have no counter spells, and then
choke them.
Take it and then choke them. The game is like over on the spot almost.
All right, so these you would make chokes. I think you were pretty much happy with all
Yeah,
this
everything else
stuff.
I'll probably keep the same.
Now-
I might look for more affinity hate if I
You
expect to
take
see
out
it.
one of these 2 or something.
I don't know. I really liked the Golgari Charm too.
Yeah, what all did it kill? I mean, besides obviously the Pyromancer tokens, but you kind of would have a better matchup there anyway.
Yeah, it's good against Pyromancer. I mean, it's also good against like the Collected Company deck because they run like Eternal Witness, Noble Hierarch, Birds of Paradise. Like you can a lot of times get like a 3-for-1 out of it.
Oh, okay. That's cool.
It's good against Lingering Souls.
Yeah.
But,
you're playing them too, though.
Yeah, you just when you're the one with the Golgari Charm, you play around it. Like you set it up so that it works. So I don't know if I had to cut a card to make room for another piece of affinity hate, or like I don't know, some other thing to fight Blood Moon. Like if that's what I was worried about, I would probably drop one of these 4. Probably not the Ooze. It would probably be one of these 3. Probably the Batter Skull. I don't know. Skull's good, but Skull's one of the only cards you can cast under Blood Moon too. But if you get to that point, you're probably still lost. I don't know. Batter Skull would probably be my first card to go after these 2, and I'd be putting in like another Stony Silence or Ray of Revelation, or what's that one that destroys all enchantments? Back to Nature. Like some kind of card like that. Back to Nature is also good against like Voggles if you get unfortunately paired up in that matchup.
So back to Nature, does that also kill artifacts, or is it just enchantments?
It's like 2 mana instant, destroys all enchantments.
Okay, that's not very good against Affinity, but
It stops Blood Moon is the part though. As long as I don't get Blood Moon.
Since my version doesn't play that, I always forget they
No.
played that, even though we talked about it.
As long as I don't get Blood Mooned, I can beat Affinity.
Okay.
Like it's not. I
I mean,
mean,
you have enough removal probably to beat Affinity and hand hate.
well,
So,
the
and
thing
just
is,
enough
the thing
stall,
is, the thing is, I
yes.
usually just take the hand hate out because their hand's empty really quick. You just want like
definitely seen
creatures removal and Liliana's.
All right. Well, I think it's a cool list, and I think I have all but the Gideon Jura.
I mean, the sideboard's malleable
So-
though. You can do whatever. You
I mean,
want
I would
there.
like to play it after hearing that report on it. And I don't have chokes, which means I better get them soon if I'm going to get them.
Yeah, I'm gonna borrow. Doug has 2 that he said he would loan me for the Invitational, so that's probably what I'm gonna run. Since
So this time the Invitational is Modern and Standard then?
yeah, in my standard list, I'll basically just run the same thing I've been doing. I think.
Yeah, I mean, you're welcome to borrow a deck from me if you want. It's got a pretty good win percentage when I play it.
Yeah, the thing is, I think most people are going to be gunning for Abzan aggro or Abzan control.
The thing is, it's so hard to gun for. Most of the creatures are just good. You just play them and turn them sideways, and they happen to have effects.
Yeah, I mean, that's true. It is a good deck, but, like, it can still be hated on pretty easily, I think, or pretty well. Like...
Yeah, I don't know any specific cards. I mean, the one that just does 5 damage to a creature, you often have too many creatures for it to matter.
Yeah,
in my version. So
I think the red-green ramp deck is pretty good against it.
And the main thing you have for the ramp deck besides the Wingmate Rocks, which I actually do not like, although I've heard really good reports from the pros. The main thing is Anafenza, as it just happens to exile most of their stuff, so they can't get it back. So. Are there any comments we need to address over there?
Somebody said proxies, ew, scrubs.
Yeah, that's pretty funny.
Because I was proxying, what, a single Bayou? Oh, I mean, I even have the Bayous.
Yeah.
But.
Well, and I was talking about finishing my decks with proxies just so I can play them before I buy the rest of the cards. Looking at the rest of the comments quick. Alright.
Talking about reprinting the Zendikar lands. Oh, Twist Warp said, any thoughts on Kataki? Kataki is another decent one that can fight Affinity.
Yeah, that might be the best, just to throw 2 Katakis in there and hope you draw one. I don't really know. I don't know how many times you're going to actually play against Affinity because it's a cheaper deck now. It used to be, it was pretty darn expensive.
Yeah. To
play. And I mean, some of the cards that even got reprinted are still not cheap. So, and they're must have. The opals are, I mean, you're not playing Affinity by the opals, so not well.
Not good Affinity.
So, the Ravagers are still pretty cheap though. They went up because they weren't reprinted. And then
Ravager was reprinted?
Not this time. It was the last time they did Modern Masters.
I didn't notice that.
And then what else? So they didn't reprint Ink Moth, which you need, but they did reprint Blink Moth, which, I mean, you pretty much have to play it, but I don't know how much they are now.
Blink Moths are under 10, but freaking Ink Moths are like almost 25 now.
Which, I mean, I'm glad I got mine because I wanted to play Infect, so.
I gotta admit, I was not 100% certain Infect was the right call going into this past weekend. Turns out I was wrong. It was definitely the right call.
Yeah. I mean, you still have to draw well and play well, so.
Well, I can handle playing well. Drawing well, you know, it's
one of them things.
That's odds. You just have to get lucky. And making the right deck call. Well, guess this time I was right.
I mean, you didn't have many other options, though. What, you have Jund and Infect?
I could play Bug Delver or the like Bug mid-range style decks, but no, beyond that I don't really have. I'd have to be like borrowing something.
Alright, well, I guess that actually concludes our thing.
I'll close it down here.
Thanks for
Good night,
tuning in.
everybody.